Hello again and welcome back to East Coast Taekwondo. We got another training tip for you today. We're going to go over the proper technique for roundhouse. Now roundhouse is a kick. It's very common in all styles of martial arts. And there's maybe not a right or wrong way to throw roundhouse, but this is the way we focus on throwing roundhouse here at East Coast Taekwondo. So roundhouse can be thrown from the front leg or the back leg. We traditionally train with the back leg first. We do all our kicks starting off with our beginners. You practice everything from the back leg. There's more power from the back leg, and the back leg actually is a little bit more difficult to learn in some ways, but other parts of it are easier. But we feel that if you learn from the back leg first, it's easier to translate over to the front leg later on, as opposed to vice versa. So back leg roundhouse kick, or any kick coming off the back leg, first you want your hands up in front of you. You should be in a nice guardian stance. Even if you were on the street, let's say, and you got caught off guard and you're going to throw a roundhouse kick in some surprise self-defense situation, your hands should instinctively be coming up to the front of your body. That's to protect you. So what we do is your hands are up, your knee comes straight up first. Every kick in Taekwondo starts with the knee coming up. There's two reasons for that. Well, actually three reasons, and I'll go over them. First of all, every kick, the foot needs to come off the floor. The easiest way to do that is to pick your knee up. Also, if your hands are up like this, I got my hands up, elbows pointed down, so now I got my forearms here providing a lot of protection to my body. As my knee comes up, as you can see, I got knee, elbow, elbow. This is just a split second, but for this split second, you can see I'm very well protected. I still can get hit by a shot to my body or to my head, but it's a lot harder as opposed to I see some people kick like this. This is not the way you want to kick, where you pick your knee up and your arms come way out like this. A lot of people do that, and that's just sloppy. That's bad. Anyone that knows how to counter is going to pick you off right away. Even on the street, someone doesn't have to be very good to be able to land a hit on you at the same time as you're trying to hit them. So hands should be in. Hands in front of you. If you have trouble getting that concept or ingraining that into your head and into your muscle memory, what we tell our students is to hold the collars of your uniform as you kick. If you do this every time you kick, you'll start training yourself to keep those hands in. So anyway, moving along, the knee comes up. From here, you want to turn your body, so you twist, and now your hips come over, your leg extends, and you kick. So all together, at a faster speed, it comes in like that. My hands stay up this way also. As soon as I land, I'm in guardian stance ready to fight. Now I said there's going to be a third reason for keeping your hands up. That is, if all my kicks start like this, whether it's front kick, or if I'm going to do axe kick, or I'm going to do roundhouse kick, if they all start like this, it's more confusing for my opponent. If you're the kind of person that throws roundhouse and you start moving your leg out from here and winding like this, well, your opponent knows if he's good and he picks up on these little cues fast, he knows that's a roundhouse kick just as soon as you know it's a roundhouse kick. So he's already going to be prepared in how to block that or how to counter it. But if all your kicks start the same way, they're not going to know what's coming to the last second. So that's why you start like this. Now the other thing we want to talk about is hip rotation. A lot of people do their roundhouse kick, it's what I like to call 45, where they come up like this. So you see a lot of people sparring roundhouse like this. And there might be a time or place for that. If you're in the tournament situation and your only goal is to just get your foot to hit your opponent in the body, doesn't matter how hard, doesn't matter how much impact it is, it's just got to touch so you can get a point. Then a 45 roundhouse is probably okay because you're gonna shave off, cut around the corners a little bit and get a little faster. But you're sacrificing a lot of power for that. And you're really not all that much faster. If you really train the right way, you can get a full power roundhouse where you're rotating your hips out almost, if not just as fast as a 45. The reason, too, is when you think of your target is a human being. It's vertical like this. To make the most amount of impact into that target, you want to hit it straight on, 90 degrees. You don't want to come in at a glancing blow. is you come in like this, 45 degrees, imagine this is my foot, I hit my target, a lot of the power and the energy glances off as I slide up. But if you want to hit someone to cause the most amount of damage, you want to hit them 90 degrees, so all that energy of the kick goes into them. So whether it's sparring or self-defense, we try to focus on always throwing the right technique. So you're here, you twist and kick like that. Also, a lot of people, there's different ways to hit with a roundhouse kick. You can curl your toes back and hit with the ball of your foot, or you can hit with the top of your foot. Now, some people say in real life I would never hit with the top of my foot because I don't want to break my foot. Well, in real life, how often are you kicking someone barefoot? You usually have a shoe on. And actually, the shoe is going to make it a lot harder to curl your toes back, but you're going to have a lot more protection on the top part of your foot. So we focus primarily on breaking or kicking with the top of our foot, because you don't really have to worry about breaking your foot. If you're sparring, you're wearing pads, and if you're out on the street, you're wearing a shoe. So if I'm like this, as I throw my kick, when he comes up, I kick, and again, the other half of the kick is the proper landing. So you want to land in the guardian stance ready to fight. I can still kick off my back leg again, I can punch, I can block, everything's prepared for the next move. All right, so I'm going to give a couple examples with Bob here. I'm throwing a roundhouse kick. And the nice thing is the technique is the same no matter what height you're going to be kicking at. So Bob doesn't have any legs here, but if I pretend down here are his legs, I would do the same way if I want to kick the legs, pick my knee up, I rotate, and I'm going to hit with the top of my foot. I really stress hitting with the top of your foot as opposed to the shin. A lot of Muay Thai style kicks, roundhouse kicks, hit with the shin, and there's some pros and cons to that. One of the pros is it's a lot easier to learn, because as you throw the kick, you don't have to worry about what position your foot is in. Also, the shin is a much bigger bone, so it's more mass. That bigger mass is going to have more power, especially for beginners that aren't getting all the fundamentals of twisting their hips into the kick properly yet. But in real life, I don't want to hit anyone with my shin. Even if you practice toughening up your shin, and you can Google and YouTube plenty of videos where this happened. Even in fact, a few years back, Anderson Silva in the UFC threw a roundhouse kick with his shin, hit the opponent's knee, and snapped his shin right in half. The reason for that is if you think of a baseball bat or anything, any long, skinny object, like a 2x4, a stick, a bat, or your shin, the weakest point is right in the middle. If you think about a baseball bat, the analogy I like to use is, you want to hit a home run with the bat, where do you hit the ball? The last 2 inches of the bat. You ever see a baseball bat break in professional baseball and the batter swings? Where does it get hit when it breaks? Right in the center. Because it's weaker there. As it gets hit, that's the weakest part. It's going to bow and flex, and also that end of the bat is still going this way. So as it's bowing in here, you get a double effect. It's bending in the middle, and the other end keeps going, and sooner or later, with enough power, that's going to give. Same thing with a roundhouse kick, hitting the shin, you're going to break that leg. Now, you can break the top of your foot just as easily, but if you break the top of your foot, and you got shoes on and everything, you can still limp out of there and live to fight another day. If you break your shin, there is no way you can continue to put weight on that leg. The structural integrity of that leg is completely gone. You can't stand, you can't fight, you can't walk. The only thing you do is hopefully you can crawl away to safety. So that's the reason why I stress not hitting with the shin. But top of the foot to the body, to the midsection, top of the foot. As you can see, Bob's already wobbling a lot more. If I want to go to the head, top of the foot. And as you rotate all the way around, you're going to get a lot of power into that, even going up high. It's harder to reach up high in real life, and that's fine. There's no reason why you always have to kick high. But if you're sparring, you're in a tournament, whatever the situation is, I'd much rather hit my opponent with a roundhouse like that into the face than with a 45. So the 45 comes up, that again is that glancing blow, that may or may not knock him out, but if you hit straight in like that with your foot coming around, that is definitely going to cause damage. So that's that's this week's training tip at East Coast Taekwondo. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments, or good or bad, please leave them below. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at East Coast Taekwondo. And if you're ever in Fairfield, Connecticut, come down and check us out at East Coast Taekwondo. Thank you.